2.5 years ago, we found Dr. John Calhoun knee-deep in mice in the mouse heaven he designed for the National Institute of Mental Health Animal Center near Washington. Dr. Calhoun wanted to find out what would happen to a mouse colony given everything mice need except living space. The result was chilling. 2.5 years ago, more than 2,000 mice were packed into Mouse City. Today, a tiny handful of survivors huddles in one corner of the city. Dr. Calhoun explains what the overcrowding did to Mouse City's inhabitants.
The last 1,000 animals born never learned to develop the social behaviors. They never learned to be aggressive, which is necessary in defense of home sites. They never learned to court. There was no mating. Being no mating, there were no progeny, and the older animals whose behavior was already becoming disrupted, they eventually reached an age too old to reproduce, and so it was all left up to these last 1,000 or so, whom we call the beautiful ones, because not engaging in any stressful activity and only paying attention to themselves, they groomed themselves well, so they looked very fine specimens. But from that point on, which was about the time that you were here 2.5 years ago, this reproduction totally ceased, and the animals have just aged and died.
At least one human group, the Eat tribe, discovered in Africa by Dr. Colin Turnbull, has gone through a similar terrible process, according to Dr. Calhoun.
The two conditions that they went through was that there was a decision on the then colonial government to make a wildlife preserve of this big valley, which was their home with their hunter-gatherers. They were moved up onto the mountainside, and a decision on the then colonial government to make a wildlife preserve of this big.
Do y'all hear that they're talking about people and not rats? They're putting it in colonial language, as if it's time before the time, as if before the rats lived here, they were slaves. It's because, like I told you guys, they're talking about us, and this is the science project. This is the actual science of what they did to you. Now, when you look at these people who believe in the black stone, the black goo, this is all drug related. This is all heroin. This is all abominable, that fluid shit, death square. So you guys got to open y'all minds. It's not everybody's responsibility to wake up and wake you up. This is all just, you choose to come to class early and be a part of, and it's up to every individual to know what they're supposed to know. If you fall behind, I hope you catch up and be relatable when you speak, because this is some really, really, this is the knowledge they don't want you to know. The entertainers, the different religious groups out there, this is what they worship. Their only reason of being here is drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. Okay, so when you talk about drugs, you're talking about high-powered drugs like black goo. The shit that's death, that'll kill you if you just take one hit. Do you know they formed whole religious sects in America based off of psychedelic drugs? You didn't know nothing about the quantum, time and space before your people hit heroin. They didn't know shit about it. That song, "You Dropped the Bomb on Me, Baby," that's the bomb. And then they ran on media that they was at war and shit. Press what? The bomb was the drugs. The A-bomb, the atom bomb, again, the destruction of the nucleus family. Why are people so quiet? This is what I'm trying to get. All year we talk about different things, but when it comes to you and honesty about who you are and where you come from, you just stand and stiff as if you can't see, trying to hide that you You rather say you came from a slave. You came from Africa. Well, with a whole generation off of heroin and dope and stuff like this. What else could they believe? They hit the dope and they seen multiverse universe. They came back into the world and they got books with Oprah on them talking about the color purple. So we're going to continue this conversation, but remember, this science is what they did to you. It's the mental study. I mean, it's the wonderland in which you believe. And I'm going to prove it. Let's keep going.
Valley, which was their home with their hunter-gatherers, they were moved up onto the mountainside and gathered together in much higher density. Instead of being spread out in small groups, they were all placed in one place, and also required to engage in an entirely different way of life.
And he's explaining to you freedom land to a black person scientifically. We're going to move them up to the bottom mountainside and then engage them like, and that is insane, okay? And if you can hear the science, he doesn't sound too smart, does he? He sound like a eugenist. That's what the fuck he sound like. He don't sound like no damn scientist.
Which their social roles, everything they learned how to do had no meaning.
Their social roles, everything they learned how to do had no meaning, family. Everything, is he talking about mice? Okay, everything they learned how to do in their social roles, entertainment, their Alpha Kappa, frat roles, had no meaning whatsoever. None. Jabari grew up after all them years to be a person on Sinetta talking about he from Egypt by way of Greek. Come on. By way of Greek philosophy.
Under those conditions, the social behavior broke down entirely. They began living. They still lived together, but their activities were just directed towards themselves.
Wow.
Everything you would think that's human.
So you're dealing with not the rat king, but the rat queen. Hashtag the rat queen. There's no rat king because it's all fantasy and they believe in materialistic wonderland. So it's really the mama. Everybody clinged on to the mama, and the mama moves, everything else moves. Like Ursula, the woman octopus under the sea. Press 1. Hit the like button and subscribe. You already know. And I woke up early. Why not? Hit that like button. Hit that Cash App. Hit that Patreon. Just support the broadcast. There's mama. They still live together. They've grown as hell. Live with my mama, all 10 of them. They'll do whatever mama say. Remember? It's mama. It's the fantasy of a false matriarch. Hit that like button. You know exactly what I'm talking. This is insane.
Appeared.
This is
Perhaps the most
they did
chilling
this.
conclusion from his Mouse City studies, says Dr. Calhoun, is that once this change in social behavior occurs, it apparently cannot be reversed.
Do you understand that? It cannot be reversed. Some of y'all mamas won't let you go. Hell no, you intertwine with them by the way of the tail. Remember the rat king analogy? Well, think of it like the project. Who all in the projects in Chicago? The rat queen. It is getting you intertwined with this way of life by way of granting this lifestyle for mama. And mama might have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. No daddy around whatsoever.
It's this fact of apparent irreversible phase shifts that gives some of us a particular concern over the fate of the human situation, because we see worldwide the breaking down of social roles, the increase in contact as a result of the breakdown of social roles and because there are too many people, that this might lead to an overriding of our controls, of our total culture, and would be set into a process which would either fix us rigidly forever into some sort of global tribalism.
Wow, look.
Without any adaptation to change. Or that would result, perhaps, eventually some decline, very much like we've seen here, but that postponed somewhat.
Dr. John B. Calhoun,
Insane.
with a very sobering look at a possible future for us. Bill Roberts from the National Institute of Mental Health Animal Center near Washington.
Now, this is, again, Mental Health Animal Center. They're doing tests on you. Not products and all, no, your living conditions. This is Universe 25. This is Universe 25. Let me say that again. This is Who Cloned Tyrone. Shit.
Dr. Calhoun, why do we have to make decisions now on our population control?
Well, the populations...
Well, I told you it's about population control and them getting scientific study from this rat here. This rat here. Press 1. Listen, your whole life in Freedom Land, your history, all that time immemorial, your faiths, which is your cosmology belief systems, are all based on psychedelics and rats.
Very interesting one. There's a lot of talk about a population explosion. Well, there's no population explosion, at least not quite yet. There never has been, or I might say there's always been a population explosion. If we go back to about 40,000 years ago, there were perhaps...
Told you. How long ago? Without this science, there is no 40,000 years ago. It's just a few thousand years ago. There is no 40,000 dinosaurs and all this other shit that they keep proving to you over. You got to be on drugs to believe this.
4.5 million people on Earth, and it had been not many fewer than this for the previous 2 million years of man's evolution. And then suddenly, the numbers began to increase, and perhaps a little crude drawing here will show this. These are in millions now.
Okay.
And this is 1, 10, 100 million.
Oh, shit. Look at this
1
one.
billion, and then we go up above here. And if we take a time scale here, an inverse log, we go back to 100,000 years ago, and we go back to, we'll make this then to 10,000 years ago, to 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
1,000 years ago. Then 100, which is 1/10 to 1 year from some time in the future.
Yeah.
So these are in time, in thousands of years.
Oh.
And if we look at population growth in this way,
Wow.
starting back about 40,000 years ago, population starting at about here has gone roughly along this direction. Now, this is a rather complex curve. It's the von Forster curve, but simply said, starting here at 40,000 years ago, it took about 20,000 years, about 20,000 years for the population to double. Then the next doubling required about 10,000 years. Then each doubling, 5,000 years to the next doubling, 2,500, and so on.
What doubling are we in now, Doctor?
We're in the 10th
We're in the Nipsey Hussle doubling right now. Double
doubling,
up.
and the 11th doubling.
Is that
Which would-
the final one?
Well, pretty near, it might be. The final doubling, starting shortly after the next, up here, we're up in here,
Uh-oh.
about right, at which the world population might be of the order of 4.5 billion now people, would require only 20 years to double. So starting from 20,000 years for the first doubling up.
I want y'all to know all your little signs come from there. Green, the Antarctica melting, there's too many people. All this shit come from here. All of this shit is from Calhoun. So who do you think has to go first? Homeless people? The rats? Or them little pretty narcissistic, pretty Ricky motherfucker? No, we gonna save them. Oh yeah, we need their genetic, but the rest of these guys, the aggressive ones, we're gonna move, disperse. You can equate that to gentrification.
Up to about 20 years if this historical process continues. Now, so that we're back here a little ways from that, not very far from early in the next century.
Can it be mathematically projected, Doctor, on a calendar year perhaps, when the population reaches the point where it outstrips our natural resources, our power supplies, our food supply?
When you say mathematically,
See? Our power.
This is what Von Forster did, projecting this age-old trend, not age-old, 40,000 years, rather short time. If this trend continued, you would have instantaneous doubling. Well, we know that's impossible, and that's the critical question, is that something is going to happen, that man will be different from the start of man, and this is where man started about 40,000 years ago as a cultural animal, not as a biological animal. He went considerably back in time below that. But at beginning this new process when he, quote, now was the only animal who could really control his numbers, that is to keep enlarging them, which is increasing his own potentiality by so doing. And this has continued until now we hit a critical point here where this process can't continue. And so from this time 40,000 years ago to early in the next century defines what we call man. And man ends at this point, whether there are a lot of bodies around, he's going to have to be something quite different from what he has been historically. And so one thing that he could do, and we're certainly capable of doing it, is keep reproducing. So that's one choice. And another choice that we have, which will have to be in effect by early in the next century.
What is that one?
Is that he can stabilize the population. One, he can keep going not very much longer, above 9, well, I haven't got this figure. This would have been at 9 billion. I haven't quite gotten my figures here. It's sort of doubled to 9 billion. But if this is the end point, if the number of children per adults continues as it's been in the past.
So they got to deaf square you.
There would be about 9
You see,
billion.
if they got to not stabilize it, they got to bring that number all the way down and make it a complete box.
People at this point. If we begin slowing down so that the population can stabilize, which is the ecological model as we've tried to do for wildlife management, maintain a stable population, then with fewer children, we might keep at this level, we have 7.5 billion. Now the critical point here is how many adults. Ideally, there should be, at this upper optimum, 3.5 billion adults in order to make most effective the network of people communicating with people. However, if we go on there's a third choice, and this is the population will begin slowly to decline.
Told you.
And if we go towards that goal, we would have at that point roughly about 6.3 billion total people, with considerably less than 2 children per family.
Doctor, what do you think now of the stress on environmental problems, trying to solve them? Should government, the politicians, pay more attention to this problem, do you think? They're all interlaced. It isn't that simple, but...
Well, the environment is just one problem which we're focused on now, and this may be a real trap because we only look at the physical, biological aspects of our surroundings, where if we focused instead on what is much more essential, comprehensive problem, and this is evolution and the designing of evolution.
Now, I told you.
In fact, we like to...
This is what? Evolution and the designing of evolution. Right here on this graph sheet. Right here. Listen, this is a mindset. So all these blacks with this mindset are what? Believers in this. This is their God. This is their starting point. Anything past this is Anunnakis and alien. And even the Bible said that the Anunnaki came, but those are the good ones, Iggy and Enlil and all of these names. This is where it comes from, bro. The rat trap.
Say that we are revolutionists here, but a particular kind of revolutionist, but you now spell differently. Now, we all know what this symbol is. This is prescription.
Look.
But so we're concerned with the prescription for evolution, of the design of the future, the design of evolution.
Medical.
So we're revolutionists.
They're evolutionists. Revolutionists. They're not Bolsheviks. They're not. They're. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's what you are. Jeez Louise, bro. They're not Marxists, bro. They're not none of that. They're evolution. They're straight up racial cleansing, bro. Down to a scientific and mathematical equation.
Well, Doctor, why are we falling into a trap paying so much attention to environment?
Well, we are in an environmental crisis. There's no question about it. The concern of the government in this question is good. The even greater concern, particularly at the college level, in the environmental teach-ins that are underway during April of this year, are extremely good movements, but they may be a very deathly trap. For this reason, that is, if we can focus just on the good environment, the biological environment, the physical environment, we will miss a great deal of what man is or could be, with a concern for increasing human potentiality. And again, we like to say we'd like to put mental, as the human capacity, back in environmental. And this is what we're all about. And we could set a trap. See, the trap we're setting here is we're looking at the environment on a strictly biological model and not a man, future evolutionary directed model.
Oh my goodness.
We can develop a stable population in which everything becomes fixed, be unchanging over time, and now we'll be back in a global tribal situation.
Oh,
sure.
My goodness, were we right? Was I correct, guys? Was I correct? Give your professor, give Professor Gillespie and the students of the THRU a round of applause. Give us a round of applause. Everybody who takes part in this subject matter, this is true. This isn't a conspiracy. There's one person on the internet, okay, bringing it like this, and that's us over here. And we can take part in all of fake algorithms and a fake internet and views, and why do that? When we're not trying to connect with artificial intelligence. We're trying to connect with real people who see what we see and can speak at a level of intelligence that makes sense to us.
Might survive for millions of years, but we aren't going anywhere. We're like the lungfish in Lake Manyara, who are in this same situation, they've handled it very effectively. Whenever stresses come along, they encapsulate themselves in a mud ball and wait out the dry period, and then come back when the environment's back in a suitable condition. So we could become lungfish, and evolution would essentially end.
What is government, or what should government be doing now? Is it aware of this problem, in your opinion? Are we doing enough? We're doing very little, aren't we?
I think there's not. I don't think it's necessarily leveled at the government. I think this is whatever comment that could be made here is one of general awareness of becoming involved in the design of evolution, the prescription for further evolution. We have to have a long time perspective, both in the past and the future, and where we may go, and that the issue, the big crisis now is not, when we think of environment relating to number of people, it's not number of people, it's people times capacities of the average individual, or the total human capacity. Now, if we can choose, now's the time for choosing a goal. And this part relates to numbers, but it also pertains to whether we're going to select from what has been the definition of man for the last 40,000 years, some aspect of this. One of these is what we call human potentiality, the capacities of the average individual to understand, to develop new insights, to communicate with his fellows more effectively. If that is a major overriding goal and is selected, and we select, and one of the necessities for that is maintaining a changing environment, which includes numbers, and the only way to do that now is to decrease numbers, so that if we choose the goal of gradually going into a declining population with increasing human potentiality, we're now at 1970. The critical point is about 75 years from now, but there's a tremendous time lag in social change. I mean, it's been only a very short time since the Supreme Court ruling for integration, and we've made lots of strides in some ways and very little in others. But this is a much more drastic change. And if we're going to change numbers towards a declining population, the whole attitude of people's values, the decisions, have to be made in a very short time. We've got, let's say, 15 years, or to 1984.
Now you see where the movie 1984 comes in, and why they love that movie so much and make it so like a conspiracy. Oh, it's not a conspiracy. Oh, no, but it's not directed at white people. It's not directed at anybody else. But the control of the population by way of evolution equaling revolution, equaling the medical decapitation and segregation, castration of the African American population. Now you can totally see here, this is down to a science, okay? Why do you think I said the science of being dead? So who put you in a dead state of mind? Who made this graph your religion and life? Crescent Moon and deaf worshippers, Billy Carson, 19 Keys, young Pharaoh, your pineal gland, your new age ideas. That's a serpent's deception. You will be like gods is the serpent's trick. What and who fell? At Eve, right there, just like in real life, and Adam right behind her. Press one. Adam right behind her. But guess what? You fell for the old Kabbalah one too. You fell for the word. Now you worship your own demise. Now your ass is the black German, praying for your own ancestral melanated pineal gland Holocaust, because you sitting up there playing with God. You want to be 33% over your man. You want control over him. You won't allow him to be him and go back to God. You don't want to follow him back to God because the shame is real. You got to come clean. You got to take it all off. And it's mainly your deception that got man locked into this white supremacist rat race. I call Disneyland. It's you. Hit the like button. You know it's true. Y'all know it's true. It's you. There's our mothers who perpetrate city girl mentality with their daughters and sons. It's them. The haters of their own people. That's a damn shame. Hit the like button and subscribe. Haters of their own people, and they don't want to admit it. They don't want Adam to go to God because they got to go with him. Hit the like button. They ashamed of what they've done. Now you got to be honest. You can lie to man. You can lie to your friends. You can't lie to God. So fellas, they don't want you to be in your rightful place because they the one who got you to worship cosmology and all this other stuff that's in defiance of your father. So they need you blinded by way of following for false senses of love. If they loved you, they'll let you go to God. But they don't love you. They love their foreign cosmo gods and old time immemorial weed stories. Oh, and don't forget Margaret Sanger and everything else. And you love, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to show you what they turned your ass into. Come on.
In essence, if we have about 15 years of grace or opportunity that this crisis presents to us, for which we can change our whole value system or not.
Oh, my goodness. How many of y'all believe in grace? Your grace at the church was the grace of this?
Change the value system, but change the mechanism for changing the value system. It's sort of a meta process.
A dead process. Press 1. A dead process. I said,
not like this.
Not like this.
Not like
every
this.
Word. Every word, Kev, I wake up like this. No makeup, no weave, no braid. Press 1, no Jordan. No, in my regular socks at the local Motel 6 where they left the light on for me. Press 1. Hey, people in Cali, they just woke up about to go to work. They nigga Kev up like this, bro. Shout out to the East Coast for training a monster. Press 1. The East Coast is suffering from hurricanes at the moment. All over the place. You know, it's gonna be all right, y'all. Buckle up. Press 1. Buckle up.
If we don't do it within this time, we will probably be at night. We will go into 1984.
I told you, you have to beat it.
I mean, it's been only a very short time since the Supreme Court ruling for integration, and we've made lots of strides in some ways and very little in others. But this is a much more drastic change. And if we're going to change numbers towards a declining population, the whole attitude of people's values, the decisions, have to be made in a very short time. We've got, let's say, 15 years or to 1984.
Make it meta.
So, in essence, if we have about 15 years of grace or opportunity that this crisis presents to us, for which we can change our whole value system. Or
ain't that what George Bush said?
Change the value system, but change the mechanism for changing the value system. It's sort of a meta process. If we don't do it within this time, we will probably be at night. We will go into 1984 in the Orwellian sense. So this is why it's critical. It's the most why this time, right now, is.
And that's all socialism. So you got evolutionists creating a scientific problem, and if that problem, imaginary problem, that scientific problem don't get dealt with, we moving into totalitarianism, press what? Russian Bolshevikism. That's why you suffering from that and going straight into it. But that's the plan of the scientists and bankers who funded Hitler, J.P. Morgan, Stalin, Roosevelt, the destruction of the valedictorians, the freemen, the real true Americans here. All that. This was the scientific destruction of these people. All y'all little made up little stories of these little Greek gods are all allegorical concepts on how you were defeated. Facts.
Time, since sometime before when man made this discovery, which probably took him about 15,000 years to learn how to discover a new kind of space, a conceptual world of ideas and progressive development of ideas. So that in the early primitive hunter group, they had about 15,000 years to solve their impasse of when they were stuck by the carrying capacity of the environment, of the physical environment. Now we're also stuck in a similar problem and have about 15 years. So it's
that's crazy that 40,000 years all the way up until that point where you had 15 years to do yours? 15? And start doubling? And that's weird, bro. That's weird.
quite a burden.
It's a weird science.
The entire future of evolution depends on the next 15 years. It's the people here now who are involved now, which is critical. And it's a question of involvement. I'm an ecologist, psychologist, however hybrid.
Wow.
And it's a question of environment.
So psychologists deal with the mind. So psychologists will love mushroom drugs and PCP. We're dealing with the mind. You know who else is a psychologist? Hypnosis. Yeah, people who hypnotize people. Yeah, those are psychologists. You didn't know that? That's why you in mind control. That's why your perception is warped. Because you're dealing in the mind. But you got to be asleep to believe the American dream. You got to be asleep. You got to be asleep to believe in the American dream. Because it is a white supremacist. Adolf Hitler, Stalin, fucking, what's the other one? What's the other one too? All of them together. It's one body. These scientists are nothing more than psychologists who smoke dope all day and all night. You smoke Reggie, that's the shit I don't like. And they come up with these theories, because that's all there is. Theories of the mind, and your ass don't got caught up with what they came back with when they finished tripping out off these goddamn drugs. Now our whole community is just trapped up in these goddamn interdimensionals while y'all wearing purples and golds and purple lipsticks talking about the energy, and your local dope head is running up the street begging for $3 with no clothes on. Press one. Talking about God forgive him. No, for God forgive you. Hit that like button and subscribe.
In the total environment of physical and social, that is the crucial question in our studies here, which we use mice and rats and other animals for.
And when you're dealing with mice and rats and other animals, all you got to do is go to the Talmud and see what they think about you. You the other animal. Your whole life has been cargo ship, they own you. Them, corporations, planet of the Saturn, the cube, the artificial dead god, meta money, meta currency, meta mind from meta spirituality, and meta history, and use a dead man walking. Press one. Run around the earth thinking you know something. Then Kev Gillespie got to come around and show you what it means to be a fucking zombie. People who thought they was woke gonna have the nerve to talk about somebody a zombie. No, he a zombie and you's a zombie too. Facts.
That's where we bring into focus our researches on in question of involvement. And they are bitten up, and the one who is bitten fails to run away. There's one type of
Okay, Doctor.
and this is one of the types of lack of involvement, of total withdrawal from the reality of the environment that's compatible with that species.
Told you.
2,400 mice
Them apartments.
Substance of the order, we don't
You see
know
them going up
exactly
the
what it
the
is
stairs
now.
and the ladders?
Between 2,200
And
and
the elevator?
2,500 mice, that is bodies, moving bodies, but there are really only about 150 mice in here. Real mice, that is mice who are in the social swim. All the others have been rejected in one way or another.
What's happened?
In which reproductive behavior is completely inhibited. It's inhibited because the last few hundred maintained them as juveniles, and although they're now adults, they no longer engage in aggressive behavior or in reproductive behavior. And we call them the beautiful ones because they're so excellent physically, they're unstressed. I see one down here. Most of these live in the apartment houses and rarely come out, but I see one who's taken temporary refuge in one of the nesting material supply cans, and I'll go over and pull him out so that you can see what a beautiful specimen this animal is.
But as far as the mouse is concerned, he's a nothing? Is that...
He's a total nothing.
Them your Pookies and Ray Rays.
Okay, can you...
They go to niggas doing push-ups with no work. Lord have mercy.
Now here he is lying in the, you going?
Go ahead, Doctor.
Here he is lying in the can. It's a place of temporary retreat. He's colored, very few, practically no wounds. He's in excellent physical shape. He has 2 or 3 nicks, but compared to most of the animals, he's in excellent shape. And these animals from previous study shows that they are unstressed. They're just not here insofar as involvement.
They
watch
started
TV.
This experiment with just a few mice.
They're high off of, you see that stuff over there? That's LSD. Them is drug fluoride in the water. You see that? They're unengaged. It ain't just that they're bred them to be unengaged. No, look where his hands is. Look at the water. We just watched videos yesterday of what? Fluoride in the water. So you got to pay attention with all your might. Use all, and that's Mr. Rogers, look.
Months ago, apparently you've been able to dissect some. Have you noticed any changes in tissue?
Well, the major thing...
The stress.
The major thing, well, certain classes of these, for instance, comparing these males on the floor here who are withdrawn, they are highly stressed animals, but the stress comes from each other because of this peculiar violence that they exhibit, which leaves them as this animal with his tail all chewed up, but they do it to each other. These are highly stressed individuals. On the other hand, the beautiful one, which I just showed you, are very extremely unstressed, and we've run the Dr. Julius Axelrod has run the assay of the enzyme which converts noradrenaline to adrenaline as the basis for this.
Wow. So they add, oh my goodness. So it's a reason why they're more aggressive because
been removing females from other populations just terminated and looking at their uteri, and for animals up to a year of age who've come up in the latter history of the colonies, there's essentially no evidence of conceiving. So there's at this stage, this is part of the overliving phenomenon.
Wow.
And it's these individuals who are not conceiving are the ones which are not stressed. They're
wow.
the beautiful ones who lack involvement.
Who lack
So that's
oh my goodness.
That's the essential story of what's going on in our studies.
So they
Have you been
sterilize
surprised,
them.
Doctor, about the results of this, what you've learned so far? Some 20 months ago, did you think all these things were going to happen?
Well, I had a slightly different hypothesis which held true only in the early stages, and this was that the larger the space, the smaller the ultimate population density. That's proved not to be true, but a second aspect of that hypothesis
He
was
said it
that
right there.
larger
Ali
the
said
space
it.
with
They're
reference to
doped
number
up. They're doped up. They're high. They're fucked up.
colonizers, the slower it would get started. And this has been true because the essential analogy here is that when there are few animals, as in this particular universe, a male, any mouse when he was out would rarely meet another. And therefore, he identified with all of his physical environment. So his own ego boundaries extended out to include all of these things, which he was committed to.
Gangbangers.
Therefore, any other animal coming out and moving towards any portion of that
bangers
would elicit anxiety and therefore aggression. And we have huge territories, and this is an essential
Who cloned
formulation of
Tyrone?
territoriality. So that in the larger the space, the more likely animals develop territoriality and the more extreme. And this did inhibit initial reproductive rate. And so with we have smaller universes than this, and they grew much faster, got started quicker. So that's another facet of this problem, that gradually washed out beyond a certain level, and then the population increased for a while fairly rapidly, and then it hit this level at which animals began being rejected out into public space as the males living on the floor here. The females are rejected, but they just don't come out. They stay back in the apartment houses.
Wow. The males don't become girly men.
Doctor, one final question here.
Wow.
Dr. Calhoun, as a human being, after going through this experiment, what goes through your mind? Are you worried about the future of mankind?
A pathological situation like this gives us an understanding of what may be going on in the human situation, or what might go on and be catastrophic. And what is really catastrophic and where the real fear is on a level where the mice and man are extremely similar. That is, the mice have programs. They're like little computers.
Told you.
And this is basically genetic, with a much smaller element of learned behavior. And too high contact rate disorganizes the program so that it gets washed out. So it's disconnected, or it doesn't express itself. This is where you get the lack of involvement. On the human level, we do have a much more complex brain. It does get programmed, less by genetics, less by heredity than for the mice, much more cultural. But it's just as subject to being disorganized, to having a program disorganized through inappropriate sequences of contacts, too many contacts. And so that we have this danger, and part of the danger is that we don't have an adequate establishment, we're now seeing, because the quote establishment doesn't provide all appropriate channels, we should destroy the establishment. We need a better establishment to allow interrelationships to protect us from too many contacts, but to allow us for those contacts which we do engage in to be more meaningful for our own lives and for meaningful to others in a compassionate sense of each of us being involved in helping the other to fulfill his roles. We'll have many more roles, and this is where the notion of compassion.
Now, ain't that what the guy said on They Cloned Tyrone? This looks identical to the same guy. This is identical to what the guy said on Who Cloned Tyrone, the white man at the end, and told him everybody got a role to fill. And he actually thanked the thugs and told them they was the real, true Americans, because they was the one helping the genetics do this. But why? Because they were killing everybody. They were killing good people. So the gangs and the Nazi scientists this is one thing here. They're in cahoots, the police and these niggas. To do what? To help these genocidal maniacs experiment on you. Take away your laws. I mean, this is everything. Everything. I love my brothers, but nigga, y'all the reason this is even possible is what they said on that movie. This is what he's saying here.
comes in, is helping, each of us helping others to fulfill their programs for development. And so we're at this peculiar stage where you're highly optimistic, at the same time highly pessimistic, and you wish to throw your weight, intellectual weight, to moving towards the optimistic side, to opening up continuing evolution.
Look like criminals, huh? Look like gang territories. Yep. Down to a science, buddy. This is the grid. Right here. This is your apartment complex. There's the different neighborhoods. All that. I told you we was going to go deep this year. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot. I got a lot on history, the science, and all that. And there is no sound to this other than my voice. There's no real sound on the video. It's just an audible. But you see the aggressiveness of the video. You see the aggressiveness of the rats. But if you put this into perspective, you will see your own neighborhood. You will see who cloned Tyrone if you grew up in it. You will see exactly what testing on rats truly mean. What the black cube and all that really mean. Looks like a camera in Chicago hood. But in every hood, it ain't just Chicago. It's everywhere, bro. We can't single out Chicago. It's just Chicago is drill music. It's hot, so it's fresh on the mind of people. But it's just everywhere. Everywhere. You know? And even in the beautiful ones who tend to stay away. Y'all in there too. Y'all stay secluded in y'all little homes and try to ignore all this shit that goes on. And that's the truth. That's the truth. So it's not a scientific study just on universe 25 is America. It's the rich and the poor. The people who stay away and who are in there. You know what I'm saying? It's a rat race at all levels. Niggas who make it up to a certain level don't ever want to go back to this. And beyond that, they believe the same thing. But it's all a science within the Truman Show. Universe 13. Universe 1. Universe 12. What did old boy say in the Matrix? We've done this over and over and over again. We destroy Zion over, and this is our 6th time doing this. What they say in they clone Tyrone? Old boy was at the end was like pretty much like God. He was like, yeah, we stamping out evil. Yeah, them evil motherfuckers. Yeah, it was the same genetic. It was a black dude behind the whole thing. So it's time to go above and beyond like a racial thing. We got to understand what race is in Universe 25 or in the false matriarch, the matrix that we live in. It ain't just, oh, blue pill and red pill and they take this one and you going to wake up and we woke. No, you waking up now. You waking up now. So these people who've gathered these mindsets of different, like this brother who just came in here talking about what happened. His name is Mind, Body, and Spirit. That mindset right there, where he think he is in control, that right there. His name, he named after that, right there. So you people with this pineal gland thought process and connecting with. No, you just high off of dopamine, off of that shit, and you believing in things. Now you think you astral project. Why y'all ain't never brought no space rocks back from no dimension? You can't touch nothing. It ain't real. Press one. You can't never bring nothing back from not one of them belief system in the dimensional, in the third, and not y'all ain't brought shit back. Y'all doing all this astral projection. You high. That's what it is. You done took some mushroom and it's fucking up your frequency. You believe that it is a frequency on Earth and Mother Earth, and you're going to tap into it, and you're going to put these pads on you, and you're going to tap in. You're going to tap in all right. Press what? You're going to check your ass into a mental hospital with your dumb ass. Press what? And everybody condemned, everybody caught in this shit. Everybody know about the pineal gland, and once in their life called they so woke, and the third eye, until they figured they got to go to work tomorrow, and the third eye ain't saved them from shit. Press one. Brother Polite is a sign to the community that Mr. Gillespie beat Satan in the black online virtual community. I got him. Press a rap. Press, that is the devil. He preaches meta. He talks meta. His spirituality is meta. And now look where it got him. Next to Dr. York. Look where it got him. Look at Andrew Tate. Look what all these people going through. Playing around. Playing around. Y'all be thinking, oh man, there's a, I got y'all, don't worry. I got y'all, the seat of the soul. Press one. See, they wasn't ready for the seat of the soul because now mind, body, and spirit, y'all didn't listen to old boy from Mobb Deep. Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. They want the pineal gland open. That's your shit right there. And now everybody with their pineal gland open with this spirituality, they all look dusty and dirty and look like they from another part of America. Press one. They look like they from Africa, some goddamn where, like they don't even belong here. All this indigenous, all these little cults only lead to what? That deception. Look at Brother Polite. Look at Rashad Jamal. 17 damn years. They just running around talking about I ain't did nothing. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Press one, them chakras, mushroom, y'all hallucinating off them shrooms, and it's destroying you. That's the alien in your head right there. You see it, family? I just see it right there. Look in the middle, that purple alien in their head. Blue and yellow, purple, here. That's the devil. There it is right there. Press one. That's the Satan that you got to get rid of, right? Press one. You talking about you, the alien and all of this? No, bro. You see him with the face right there, with the green body looking like a praying mantis. Looking, you ever seen Billy Carson? He looked like Billy Carson, don't he? I told you, Billy Carson looked like him. You look like the person you serve. You look like your father. Press one. See, I don't serve that. I serve my father. Press one. That's why I look like him. Y'all niggas is busted. Y'all busted. You busted. Okay? And so look at that corpus callosum. Look, all of this is death. Cerebral, like in the X-Men. All this is death squared. You got to Let me see what y'all over that chat room. Look. And black people be talking about this like they got science jackets and live brains in their laboratories. They ain't got nothing. They ain't got one laboratory. They ain't got one pair of gloves. They ain't got sterilized machine. They ain't did no microscope buying off of Amazon or nothing. They just running their fucking mouth, daydreaming, shining themselves up with Vaseline. Press one. Walking across, everybody think they're a fucking star now. Get the fuck out of here. No peer review, no type of nothing, just wilding. And we up there clapping for these niggas because we thinking they telling the truth because we ain't did no studying. We really high with them, just trying to go somewhere and pretend we trying to get some knowledge and wisdom and don't walked ourselves into a death coat. Press one. Hit the like button and subscribe and contribute right there on my Cash App. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me, bro. Now, the seat of the soul, I call this the throne of Satan, and the seat of the soul. Press one. Ptah. Talking about the aliens is coming. That's them drugs that tap you in to that pineal gland. Press one. You want to know how I know? Because I got your whole belief system right. I got the whole world in his hands. He got the whole wide world in his hands. Press one. I got your little mushroom, little Smurf gods right here. Hey, Taj, take that hat off. Press one. So watch this one. Now I'm finna show y'all something only an 80s baby can do. Nobody else can do this. You got to be an 80s baby to even feel me on this one like Tupac say. Now watch how I break them down real easy. Now watch this. Mushroom music. Frequency. Chakra. Here we go. Look, changes in bioelectricity in the mushroom are converted into music notes. That's our belief system. Added space echo. And here go your baby mama and your girl and your mama and them.
I keep trying to tell y'all that everything is energy. Everything is vibration. Vibration is energy.
Oh.
Sound is vibration, is energy. So what they did was they translated the language.
The language of the mushroom?
Which is the sound. Or the vibration
of a drug
of the mushroom.
Okay.
They translated the vibration into sound.
Okay.
So it's a language.
So mushrooms talk.
And this is the same language that we all speak.
Not like this.
That's how y'all look to the rest of the world.
Not like this.
You speak that language through your emotions.
Huh? I speak that language. Wait a minute. The mushroom didn't have to. Was the mushroom depressed or what? Because there he went through multiple sounds. And did he go through multiple? Was he fucking angry or sad? What the fuck was that about? Oh my goodness.
Your emotions determine your vibration or the sound. Your thoughts are also vibration and has a sound.
Everybody be quiet so I can hear D-Jack.
An energy. And so you are always communicating with the universe through your language of your thoughts and your words and your feelings.
I can't believe this shit.
That is your vibration. And
la 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 la, la 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 la, Elmo's world.
That is how you manipulate the environment around you.
We not trying to manipulate nothing.
That is what law of attraction is all about.
No.
Not about you being good or bad or trying real hard. It's about you learning how to speak the language
of mushrooms. Hey DJ, I got the class. Shut the fuck up so we can all hear DJ. Get the fuck out of here.
of vibration.
Must be a dog whistle, you know, Lord. It's always going to be something, reason why it's not true. Oh, that's because it's right outside of your perception. And then Billy Carson going to slap you in the back of the head with the, well, if you don't really have faith in it, it's not going to work. And then, oh, fuck, bro. I'd rather play video games where all my buttons work. Touchdown. Press 1. And... Now, I'm just proving to y'all that this is very psychedelic, George Clinton style, alien connection type shit. You want to know how I know? Because I'm an 80s baby and I've watched this movie called what? What's the movie? Close Encounter of the Third Kind. Remember this, fellas? Remember? Nah, nigga, KevRow. I want y'all to look at y'all neighbors.
Not like this.
I knew it from
Not
somewhere.
like this.
I went straight to the data bank. Hit the Cash App. What up, Marley? Marley, I see you. What up? Hit the Cash App. Now watch the sequence with the alien. Got him. This why y'all think y'all Cosmo? Y'all from Star People? Huh? You Stardust?
For 6 quavers, then pause.
She sent us 4 quavers.
Yeah, this is why y'all Oompa Loompa.
4 semi.
You bullshitting. Look. Mushrooms are alien. The mothership. Look, the mothership, you gotta be on dope.
The only thing these phrases have in common are 5 signals.
I hope somebody's taking all this down.
Oh, bro.
It seems they're trying to teach us a
Hold me
basic tonal vocabulary.
like the river Jordan. Lift me up now. Lift me up. Lift me up now. Look at this shit. A bunch of...
Take everything from the lake.
We got them, y'all. I think this is the end of the world, bro. I think this is where we come out the Truman Show. This is embarrassing. I don't even think they on the moon. Now, hold on. Let's go back to the sound to double check. Cue the black woman.
I keep trying to tell y'all.
What's that one?
That everything is energy. Everything is vibration. Vibration is energy. Sound is vibration, is energy. So what they did was they translated the language, which is the sound or the vibration of the mushroom. They translated the vibration into sound.
Okay, then let's go back to this translation. Let's see if we can all hear the translation of what it say. Sound like Simon, huh?
Give her 6 quavers, then pause.
She sent us 4 quavers.
Yep, like the game Simon. There you go. That's fucked up. They got us, huh, bro? We gotta press the button. Our parents was doped up. Here y'all go. Simon says, huh? They fucked us up.
What are we saying to each other?
It seems they're trying to teach us a basic tonal vocabulary.
That's why all the women used to beat us, because they aliens. This is the black cube, y'all. Look at this.
We have a translation airlock on their audio signal. We're taking over this conversation now.
Wow. Kev Gills to woke y'all up today. Press 1. Press 1. Y'all ain't not a another. Press 1. Yes, yes, yes. I knew y'all didn't have nothing to say yesterday. That's why I was talking shit. Press 1, but guess what? Kev gonna wake you up. It don't matter if you don't got nothing to say. It don't matter if you don't got no question. Kev wakes up like this. You feel me? Sometimes it ain't nothing to say. The Bible say when he come, you ain't gonna have nothing to say no way. So don't feel bad. Don't get in your feelings. Just know Kev is coming with the truth. Nobody else on the internet does this. Did nobody else tell y'all about the Smurf and the takeover of the Oompa Loompas over Willy Wonka's factory? Nobody gonna tell you black people that your religion that you believe in and your faith is nothing more than a drug epidemic belief system. Rest 1. Hit that like button and subscribe. Hold on, B. I'm gonna plug you right on in. But Kev is here, and we gonna tell y'all the truth, bro. Like D-Jack just said. Simon. This sound like Simon Says, bro. This sound like this is too much. Coffee and Kush TV, man. You on the air. What up, champion?
Yeah, Kel, man, that's what's the trip, and she on it. You can see it in her eyes. She on something. Her mind ain't right. They made a techno instrumental and plugged some chords up in the mushrooms. I'm like, you see? We see what? They done made this beat before they even hooked it up. You see what? And then on that movie, they playing cartoon instrumentals. I'm thinking I'm watching Tom and Jerry or something.
Exactly.
Brain fried, bro.
Oh,
I'm like,
my goodness.
man, come on, bro.
So it's really
like,
the language, the language of the mushroom, right?
Man, they mind is believing it. It's I can take some instruments and make a little instrumental and then plug my cord up to some broccoli and I'll be like, see the vibration. And she gonna be like, oh yeah, the energy I feel it. Like, yeah, y'all tripping. You gotta be dope.
Wait.
Like, they're gonna be worshiping broccoli next week. They're gonna have a whole church and everything, and they're dancing, talking about they broccoli. Oh man, bro, this world is crazy.
Is it that, or is it brothers and men ain't shit for putting that up there like that, and women to believe it? Like they're so gullible when it comes to like the tricks of what we come up with. Remember Sid in Toy Story used to create all of these dumb little toys, and it drove the sister insane. She was really scared of them, but he wasn't doing shit. But breaking all of her toys and sticking them on other shit, just doing what boys do. They gonna take it and say they a whole religion. But let me say this real quick. Mushrooms are decomposers. They break down dead things like leaves and plants. That's why sometimes you see mushrooms growing on dead trees or logs. Wow. Yeah. So it's fungi. It's oh my goodness. So they got the belief system of a fungus it's not even real, of death.
Right. And I look at it like when they taking the mushrooms, your body trying to fight the stuff off.
Yes.
You know? And it's got you hallucinating. It's got you tripping out, you know?
Because your body is fighting off the drug and it's going to war internally.
Yeah. Internally, like, man, what is this in here? Mayday.
Why you think the crackheads always like touching themselves and like, the man, yes, oh my goodness.
They nervous system, bro. It affects the nervous system. You know, like you talk about how, you know, family members, man, I had an uncle before he passed. He was in the army, came back smoking crack. And that nervous system, bro, it got something to do with. Nah, people always talking about dope things, mouth twisting and all that. That's their nervous system. It's shot. And then they say some of they went from being some of the smartest people to now you saying crazy stuff.
Now check this out. Is she giving praise to death?
Definitely.
Are people who uphold this belief system of this trick of the Satan, is this death?
It is. It's crazy that you can sit up here and praise a mushroom and then won't give God the credit for everything that he done for us. You ain't even mentioning God. He ain't even on your brain. You in mushroom land. And wonder, you can believe in mushrooms, but you're not gonna believe in the Father. You tripping.
Wow.
So yeah, you right, Kel.
All right, anything
You're
else?
right,
You
man.
got the floor, bro. You got it. That's all I needed. Go ahead.
Well, man, I was paying attention to that video with the guy from Universe 25, and a couple things that stood out to me. You know how they always got us in the media where they talking about they want to push the quote unquote black on black crime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, they showing rat on rat crime, and I noticed how he started off talking about the rats, that he wasn't really talking about rats no more. It was just the human. He was saying human. He was saying it like he wasn't even talking about rats no more. He was straight talking about humans. I'm like, God, dog. And I'm looking at how they set up Universe 25. They even showed the apartments and then the blocks. They had it blocked off.
You
like
saw that?
Showing how, yeah, like that's how it be, battling for blocks. I'm like, man, it's crazy. But they kept the dope wheels accessible to all of them. So I was like, man. And then what stood out to me too, he was talking about they had a 15-year period to implement their plan.
Go ahead.
So I'm like, dang. I'm looking like everything that we seeing in our society, it's a plan. They got a plan on which way they want to subvert us or what direction they trying to push us to. And then it's meta world. Like that's what it's straight death world. And they showing the rats fighting. I'm like, yeah, that's them. They jumping one and everything.
They jumping them and everything. They stumping them out there and
everything.
Get him, kid, THRU and crip. Go ahead.
Now he running up the block, getting on. And then how he was talking about how they had injuries and their tails all mangled. Then you got the ones what they call the beautiful ones, how they want to stand clear of everything, and then I was like, bro, like that's everything we be seeing. So yeah, that's something. One more thing, he mentioned that he was an ecologist and a psychologist.
Yes,
so
sir.
All this stuff is what ecology wouldn't that be like the environment? And they talk about culture and the environment.
Right.
All right. Then we got the psychology, psychology, the study of the brain. So yeah, the study of the mind. That's what all this is. Like all these tricks of the devil. They not like magic. Like they try to come with magic. It's a trick of the devil.
It's a trick of the devil.
You thinking much? Yes, sir. How you hooked up to your earphones to mushrooms?
Say it again. Have you hooked up to what?
How you hooking your headphones up to mushrooms, thinking that something really going on, but it's a trick of the mind, a trick of the devil. So,
oh my goodness!
That's what I'm like, man. I'm like, man, this is wild. But
let me ask you a question. Looking at the mushroom, it's really just a psychedelic. This is all code talk for LSD, PCP, SHRM is what they call it. Let me get a square or a cigarette dipped in embalming fluid.
Yeah.
Is this the science of how to break down the atom?
Yeah, it is. We gotta change his mind from the original state to an altered state. It's altered. So you got an altered perception of what reality is. They using hallucinogens.
Go ahead.
They got them So with them using hallucinogens, your mind state, your mental mind state is altered, and like they running a campaign on, they've been doing it, mental health,
Yes.
like out of nowhere, like everybody, you see in the
On
media,
board.
they
Everybody's on
talking about,
board.
oh, yeah, that like, hey, we're gonna run this mental health campaign now. They've been doing it, but now it's just like, man, everybody talking about mental health all of a sudden.
Maybe they
But
spraying
what's caused
LSD on us from those planes. Maybe it's LSD sprinkle me.
straight up, like, hey, for real,
I know
for
Marley.
real,
Marley.
they
I
E40,
know that
like,
just. I know that just hit every real nigga. Sprinkle me like what the fuck? Yeah,
that's
baby.
all I heard. That's
That's
what
all I
they
heard was
doing,
E40.
for real.
But it's
Straight
true.
sprinkling everybody. It is, bro. And then like, I was looking at some of the stuff that like Taj brought up with the ergot and bread.
Yes.
I was like, man, so from inside and out, they hitting us with hallucinogens and different things to alter the mind, and then giving people, a false perception of what reality is. And then just like them rats in that Universe 25, if you born into that, you don't know nothing else. And then without the father, you don't know nothing. That's
Nothing.
all you know. You going on energy, these code words. And like, I feel the power, like, energy, like, but they forgetting about this, God, God word and His truth. Because without that, man, we lost. You see what it look like. We can see it, So I was just like, man, bro, this thing here is wild. Um, but nah, that's basically what I observed from, just what you've been presenting to us, man. And to it's a blessing for you to be presenting it, to showing the effects of not only the lies from the ideals that they got, but man, from a physical level with the drugs. And you know what else I thought about?
What's
How
that?
they say when you do hard drugs. I remember this with the DARE program. In school, I'm pretty sure y'all had that too.
Oh, of
The
course.
DARE program. They said that when you take drugs, tough drugs, it opens up your mind. It opens up your mind to different things.
It's dope. Dope
You
is the
know,
gateway drug.
a gateway drug, bro. And I remember one little cartoon they had for us when we were little. They went to this pill world and got stuck.
They went to this what?
It was like a pill world. They made a cartoon for their program, and then when they took these pills, they was hallucinating and they got stuck in that same world, and
Oh
they
my
didn't
goodness.
realize. Like you was talking about the time that went by, that goes by while people high. It was an actual cartoon. I'm gonna see if I
Oh
can
my
find it somewhere,
goodness.
but yeah, bro, like they was telling us it's an actual plan. And then my thing is, if you got a DARE program and then it's a war on drugs, how come more activity in the negative sense of drugs happen, was happening, like that's how I see it. The 80s and the 90s, they was pushing their whole program, so
So the music
it's just,
industry and music is a big part of this biochemical attack on the mind of African Americans. It's a big drugs and the music is the biggest. And what if they form a culture out of this drug induced experiment they're calling hip hop? And now look at you stuck. Now look at you
yeah,
stuck. A grown ass
yeah,
man listening to your own demise, and not only that, you're celebrating it, and you're bringing on
like,
guests that are also that have, and then the audience sit back and clap with them. Oh, this is drink champs. This is no. These guys are um, stuck children.
stuff, bro.
Go ahead, man.
And and with the music thing, they promoting all the wrong stuff. Like, you could talk about everybody talking about how most of the lyrics is nowadays, especially, is how I kill a nigga and wet a nigga up or bust your head and all of
But
this stuff.
yes,
All right, then it's the program. They
yes.
get you. you opened up, like we was talking about, the drugs open you up. Now you pumping this in your head all the time. It's programming you. That's what the dude was kind of talking about, the program.
Yes.
That's the program.
Yes.
And then you get the visual with the videos.
Yes.
Even with their videos now, like they even used to have ladies in videos. They don't got nothing but a bunch of dudes like flashing guns together.
Facts.
Like, you know, where the girls at? So it's weird, you know.
Yes,
It's real weird, bro. But yeah, the music does have an effect with all of that. Then when you see people, I see this too, Kev. All right, I could be riding down the road. You'll see one of our brothers, he listening to music, but the way, can't nobody hear the music but him. But the way he expressing himself, like
he
hey,
in there.
bro, like he in there. He up here moving his hands and like, you know, like I'm listening to some, you know, he listened to some gangster music or something. I don't know what they saying.
Pointing in the street with his gun, but he using his
finger.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, you looking crazy, man. You look real crazy. So
Universe 25, or they clone Tyrone is what it is, champion.
For real, live in our face. And we like, dang, bro. I'm looking like, dang, bro. Don't nobody hear that music but you out here, you tripping. And, you know, so that's what it is, bro. And that's all I had to bring to the table.
Thank you, champion.
Now, bro, I'm gonna keep listening. I appreciate you.
My man, Beat from Texas calling in, my man. So look at this. The CIA's appalling human experiments with mind control. A lot of it, LSD and different drugs that induced our forefathers, especially American POWs returning home. They were introduced to communist brainwashers. Press 1, which the CIA created in the Black Panthers. Press 1. That's why the Black Panthers was called pushing dope, because they would know who was selling it. They know where it came from. They needed them to get that going. Facts. Facts. Super Mario with the shroom, he grow bigger and bigger. And he get the green shroom, he's invincible. These are all drugs. These are all drugs, fam. This is what destroyed your community. You can't sit back and say nothing because you're a part of it. And it's up to you to do the research. It's up to you to come to class. This ain't class, though. Press what? This ain't class. This is just
call from
the U. Coffee and Kush TV, KevRow University on the air. What up?
Kev Gibbs, this is Russell. I was calling in to see if I could talk about the topic you have today.
What's going on?
You was talking about that Universe 25. Man, that's a part of like some of the work that I do with my job, man. That stuff's unbelievable, man. When they talk about, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, talking about that Universe 25, that experiment was amazing. It made me think of like, how do I explain this?
I don't know, bro. You're taking too long and too emotional. That's not the kind of Universe 25 I live in. This is not the Montel Williams show where you get to think and keep thinking and it was amazing. That's cool, but you got to get to your point. I'm not the YouTuber you want to call. This is a university, and you don't sound like somebody who been in my school. You sound like somebody who's mentally not there, coherent to be in my class. And you're not a student of mine. Never heard you give my homework or nothing. So sorry, buddy. So anyway, to my classroom and my support group, going back to the pineal gland and the window of the soul. Y'all see mind control and this face that I got from the Matrix. You see that? Same thing. But you're under mind control, so you won't see the collective. But we're going to get to that in a second. Time to move into the window of the soul where Satan's seat is. See, he taking too long to get to a point because deception goes a long way. I'm not here for that. I'm here to prove to my class and those who support my broadcast what this alien connection is in the mind. I'm not here to in your feelings and what a great, and that's a great topic and that's cool. If you listen to B from Texas, then you know how I need my students to be. Confident, ready to do battle with their own personal lives and be firm, bro. I be up 1 a.m. researching. And not to play around with you fellas, bro. Not to have an incompetent mind. Thank you. So the seat of the soul, the third eye, and all of this death belief system by way of drug-induced comatose states of being. You're black, and that's really what that does to you. Heroin turns you dead, black. Your skin is just black. So let's get to it.
Gland, it is possible that numerically perfect Fibonacci harmonics.
This is the science behind what she was talking about. Let's go.
The pineal gland could be the seat of the soul, or an organ that, once fully activated, could unlock a deeper understanding of our true nature. Considering the Fibonacci design of the pineal gland, it is possible that numerically perfect Fibonacci harmonics could activate this organ. The answer might not be on Earth, but rather the Earth itself. Our planet moves in ways that display observable patterns. It spins in a day, orbits the sun in a year, and experiences a gradual wobble known as the precession of the equinoxes, which takes 25,920 years to complete. Expanding our perspective with a newfound comprehension of the precision of the equinoxes, we return to the factor 9 grid and employ the fundamental 12s and 60s of Sumerian math.
I told you. This is doped up shit right here.
How and why was this specific system chosen? We can speculate and suggest various theories, or we can examine what the ancient Sumerians themselves documented about this remarkable moment in human knowledge advancement. Although it may not be what historians prefer, the Sumerians inscribed on clay tablets that they did not invent base 60 mathematics, but received this knowledge from beings not native to Earth. They described these visitors in great detail, noting that they either descended from celestial royalty or came from the sky.
Bingo. So there's two stories. Royalty, or they came from the sky. Ordained, or all that going way 20, 30,000 all the way back. This stuff is just right around the corner.
Archaeologists frequently
Billy Carson are the truth.
These accounts as mere myths, but the Sumerians regarded these visitors as more than mythical gods. They believed that the Anunnaki, a race of exceptionally tall, human-like giants, lived among them and shared their knowledge for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. Intriguingly, the Bible's Book of Numbers also includes an account of Moses' scouts encountering a giant race, the Anak, who made humans appear like grasshoppers in comparison. Did extraterrestrial beings genuinely contact us all those years ago? And if so, what was the real purpose of their visit? To address these questions, we must first delve into the realm of speculation, and then examine other evidence that may support or refute the sky visitor theory based on historical context. Essentially, we will be searching for coincidental clues that, when combined, either confirm or disprove the earliest records ever written. The Sumerian base geometry can be transformed into audio frequencies, and when the sum of angle totals from various basic geometric shapes, such as triangles and cubes, are played, different arrangements of a numerically perfect major chord are produced. This chord is revealed by a factor 9 grid that is built upon a tone vibrating at 432 cycles per second. It is worth noting that this key tone, used for tuning instruments, has fluctuated throughout the centuries, and the current international standard is 440 cycles per second. While it can be argued that any tuning system is as good as the next for musical purposes, since every instrument is tuned to the same tone, it is worth delving deeper into the numerical information revealed by the Factor 9 grid. Interestingly, when tuning deviates from 432, the corresponding grid does not produce any intriguing numerical sequences. However, when we return to 432 and move up and down strictly by multiples of 9, a remarkable 14-tone matrix of synchronicity begins to emerge. On this unique grid, we find not only some...
So, is y'all science mere musical notes?
All of the numbers representing every prime geometric shape. Upon further exploration, we discover numerous other numbers that appear in some of humanity's most profound religious texts, such as the 72 names of God in Kabbalah, 108 repetitions of mantras and mudras in Hinduism, 140 as a number sequence represented in the Great Pyramid of Giza, the number of days in a Mayan Baktun, and the 144,000...
The only thing that's important is this right here. That's the only thing.
Chosen ones described in the biblical book of Revelation. Notably, there is also 432, a number that mythologist Joseph Campbell encountered so frequently in his cultural studies that he dubbed it the most important mythological number in history. This Factor 9 matrix invites further exploration and reflection.
Anything outside is caught in the matrix. Facts.
We must consider the significance of the 432 grid, which reveals numerous numerical coincidences.
Hashtag 54
However,
is first.
logic may hinder our ability to perceive 32 grid.
Don't act like you don't see 54 first. Press don't act like y'all don't see what they call it. No, I don't even pretend. Anything outside of that, you caught it in the matrix. Hit the like button and subscribe.
Which reveals numerous numerical coincidences. However, logic may hinder our ability to perceive a broader perspective, since any arbitrary unit of time can measure vibration cycles. One may argue that no unit is more or less accurate than others. We measure sound waves using the Sumerian second, which comprises 86,400 in a day. But we could use any other time interval. Therefore, some may claim that the coincidental number sequences disclosed by the Factor 9 grid are merely chosen data to support a predetermined theory. To delve deeper into this matter, we need to identify something non-arbitrary, such as a natural order or pattern that connects all of this information. However, where can we find it? If it exists on this planet, why haven't we discovered it already? Perhaps our viewpoint has been the issue. The answer might not be on Earth, but rather the Earth itself. Our planet moves in ways that display observable patterns. It spins in a day, orbits the sun in a year, and experiences a gradual wobble known as the precession of the equinoxes, which takes 25,920 years to complete. This phenomenon is the Earth's largest and slowest movement. If we observe celestial objects today, is it reasonable to assume that an intelligent being with a distant view of Earth would recognize its distinctive wobble? If this is the case, could it be possible that this same intelligence would offer us a means of communication, such as a mathematical system, that not only suggests their existence, but also reveals insights into their understanding of our planet? Expanding our perspective with a newfound comprehension of the precision of the equinoxes, we return to the Factor 9 grid and employ the fundamental 12s and 60s of Sumerian math. We experiment with the geometric and sacred text number sequences disclosed in the 432 matrix, and remarkably, the answer to all these equations is 25,920. Each of these numbers fits perfectly into 25,920 like gears in a precisely machined clock, revealing a non-arbitrary phenomenon, the physical wobble of our planet. We must realize that we are no longer discussing an arbitrary math system, but one that can be cross-checked with the Earth's physical movement.
Now, all this talking, I don't believe none of this shit, just to let you know. I just think it's random. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. And it's science to disprove and simulate what's already here, what's natural. I don't think they're finding out anything. I think they're just trial and error every day, trial and error. I don't really see a experiment. My thing is, they like we said, it's about music. So your religion, spectrum of frequencies and things of this nature, and spirit and all, this is really like upside down shit that'll have Adam lost in the world. Again, we talking about death square spiritually. I mean, really flipping Adam upside down. Really flipping Adam upside down. Let me see. You start listening to these type of people. Listen to this.
When I first found out about grounding, I actually ordered a sheet off of Amazon that had these silver threads in it, and it was a grounded sheet. And I put it, and I slept on my bed with it. Didn't feel too different. Then there was some Father's Day special, and I ordered this huge box of grounding material straight from Earthing. So I ordered this package, and it came with patches. And these patches are sticky, and you can stick them anywhere on your body.
Yeah.
And then it plugs into a ground outlet in your house, and you have to make sure that the outlet is grounded properly, or else it's not good.
These could be dudes, bro. That's a whole arm, bro. Bruh.
Not like this. Not like this.
This is all transhumanism thought process. Baphomet. Upside down. The world is really like this. This is and who showed you the 3D, the first spheric transmitter, illusion transmitter? Me, developed by that black woman. So all this earth is round and spherical nonsense can all just be projection, literally. Now, to be honest, their belief system is that of Satan, like transhumanism. It's what is the faith of transhumanism? Well, cosmos and earthly. What's that one lady who sing that song? I am one of the greatest. Transhumanism. So y'all been invoking this whole time. Y'all been so against God that y'all been invoking a whole thought process and religion, antichrist, new age, but it's a seed of the serpent. Look, that is not normal.
So getting the conductive metal stuck to your body, it then drains all that, or it fills your body with
negative ions.
And so it fills your body with negative ions.
Right from the earth.
Yes.
And so I didn't believe it. So if you don't believe in something, typically what happens is you can actually cause it to fail just by disbelief. And if you believe something is good before you even use it, you can create, a situation where it'll work just because your mind believes it. Placebo. That's the placebo effect. And today we're talking about grounding.
When I first found out about grounding, I actually ordered a sheet off of Amazon that had these silver threads in it, and it was a grounded sheet. And I put it, and I slept on my bed with it. Didn't feel too different. Then there was some Father's Day special, and I ordered this huge box of grounding material straight from Earthing. So I ordered this package, and it came with patches. And these patches are sticky, and you can stick them anywhere on your body.
Yeah.
And then it plugs into a ground outlet in your house, and you have to make sure that the outlet is grounded properly, or else it's not good.
What's gonna happen? We're gonna get electrocuted?
So getting the conduct.
So you're not getting grounded. You're getting electrocuted. Press 1. That's stupid. This is stupid. It's grounding. Go outside with your regular shoes, with your feet connected to the ground. I thought that was grounding. But apparently grounding is buying electrical things and patching them to you and plugging them up to the electrical socket in your house and going to bed. Lord, what have our people gotten themselves into?
The metal stuck to your body, it then drains all that, or it fills your body with
negative ions.
Negative ions,
Electrons.
right from the earth.
Yes.
And so I didn't believe it. So
this is why I gotta, this is why I gotta stay far clear away from these people. Far. So anyway, let's go to this. This is incredible. I want you guys to pay attention to what you're about to see right now.
The bread from the
I want y'all to think about the world fairs, Wonder Bread, the drugs, what we were talking about. Hit the like button and subscribe. Contribute to this page.
August 16th, 1951. Madness spreads through the village of Pont Saint-Esprit in the Gard region in France. Dozens of villagers have been victim of these bouts of madness. The press describes men terrorized by snakes swirling in their stomachs. A doctor recounts the evening of the 25th of August, where dozens of locals were seized by convulsions, like in a night of the apocalypse. Reports from the victims are terrifying.
Je suis resté exactement 21 jours sans dormir. Absolument impossible.
What that sound like?
Impossible de fermer l'œil, malgré tous les calmants et somnifères que le médecin a pu m'administrer. Alors il est évident, quand on reste 21 nuits sans dormir, l'esprit travaille. Et ma jeune fille avait des crises terribles d'hallucination, se dressant sur son lit, voyant le sang qui tombait du plafond de partout, voyant des tigres qui bondissaient dessus, des lions, des ours qui venaient la dévorer. Et alors à ce moment-là, criant évidemment, poussant des cris terribles, des cheveux qui lui sortaient de la bouche. Elle avait toujours l'impression qu'elle avait sa bouche pleine de cheveux. Elle s'arrachait comme ça, n'est-ce pas, pour éliminer ses cheveux, qu'elle n'y arrivait pas.
Mais vous vous souvenez de quelque chose, mademoiselle?
Oh, rien du tout, monsieur.
In Pont Saint-Esprit, they call it the cursed bread drama, because all of those who fell ill ate the bread from the Briand bakery. It's the first time in France that a whole village has gone mad. It made headlines in the press, who wondered, what could have caused this collective hallucination? In Pont Saint-Esprit, the locals panic, and nobody will touch the bread. The hearses quickly arrive in the village. In total, 7 deaths, 300 people poisoned, and around 50 admitted to psychiatric wards.
300 personnes intoxiquées. Ah oui, oui, oui. Oh là 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 là. Ça me rappelle un triste souvenir, très triste.
Il y a des gens qui étaient un peu, oui, ils étaient plus dans leur assiette, hein, ils ne savaient plus trop où ils habitaient. Hein. Des gens qui sautaient de leurs fenêtres, là, bref. Oui.
Je crois bien que c'était le pauvre Puche qui avait dit ça. Bien sûr, il en est mort, hein. Et s'était mis sur le bord de la fenêtre, dit « Regardez les gars, je suis une libellule ». Oui, je crois qu'il a dit libellule, il n'a pas dit hirondelle. « Je suis une libellule, je vole ».
Ils étaient vraiment fous. Ils voyaient que du feu. Ils voyaient que du feu.
Il y en a qui se...
They say, I just seen fire everywhere. It doped them up. Listen to him.
Battaient, qui s'envoyaient des gifles. Voilà, ça je me souviens que c'était vrai. Hein.
Ils se débattaient tant qu'ils pouvaient, ils criaient. Oh non, c'est une horreur. C'est une horreur.
The first dead were buried. The investigators initially thought it was a return of St. Anthony's fire, a disease that killed many thousands in the Middle Ages, caused by a parasitic ergo fungus that attacks cereals.
That attack what? Cereals. Remember Kellogg? that attack cereals. Let's go.
The baker was accused of poisoning, then the miller. Arrested and incarcerated, they were released after several months. They say that their confessions were made under duress, and above all, the evidence proved their innocence. It was then thought to be water poisoning, mercury, fertilizers, or a nearby gas factory. But the evidence disapproved these theories one by one. Since then,
what kind of hats is those? That's that same Turk little Italian
more far-fetched theories have surfaced.
C'était la guerre froide à l'époque. Les coups bas, il devait y en avoir. Hein. Entre l'Amérique et la Russie, je pense que l'URSS.
Non, la sorcellerie, moi je pense pas. Non, non, non.
Le coup du sac de farine posé sur un sac d'engrais. Ça aurait très bien pu être arrivé.
Sound familiar?
Il y avait un commis là. Et c'était quelqu'un qui n'était pas trop... Il avait fait la pont et de partout un peu de... Moi, qui le connaissais bien, j'ai toujours pensé que ça pouvait être que de lui.
Le produit a été mis chez le boulanger. Je dis non, c'est pas le boulanger qui l'a mis. Chez le boulanger, il faut que quelqu'un l'ait mis. Ah, il fallait savoir qui. Donc c'est pas lui, c'est quelqu'un d'autre. Quelque chose qui ne va pas. Ça, c'est pas clair. Pas du tout.
Nothing is clear, and for decades the incident goes unexplained. But against all expectations, 60 years later, a new theory is proposed. Not from France, but from the United States. An American researcher in the Secret Services, Hank Albarelli, is investigating the suspicious death of a biochemist from the CIA, Frank Olson. A specialist in chemical weapons, he carried out experiments on hard drugs like LSD. He was also in France.
Press 1. Like what? Okay, family.
Few months before the Pont Saint-Esprit incident. Afterwards, he kept sinking into depression, telling his wife that he'd made a terrible mistake. Hank Albarelli then made the link with the Pont Saint-Esprit incident. Could it have been the CIA and the American Army spraying LSD onto the bread?
I have no doubt at all that Pont Saint-Esprit was a U.S. Army covert experiment. Initially, I had doubts, and I think initially my doubts were motivated by wishful thinking on my part, where
when they say
making
bread off of what? Dope. What the fuck else you make bread off of? Sprinkle me. Have these people been selling us death this whole time? Yes. Your rappers are the gateway to crackheadism. And all these people off this truth serum, promethazine, is another form of liquid death. That's why a lot of them never wake up.
It was hard to fathom the government doing that. Although at the same time, there were a number of research tracks that were being conducted for the book at the same time. So my being naive about what the government and the U.S. Army was capable of doing was the threshold for that was dwindling.
Is it possible that the Americans drugged an entire village in an ally country, causing, no doubt accidentally, the death of 7 people? improbable. However, to understand what happened in Pont Saint-Esprit, we need to look back at the end of the Second World War, when the level of atrocities committed by the Nazis was discovered in the camps.
And what happened?
Notably, horrific experiments carried out on thousands of prisoners by chemists or doctors. Men lacerated, poisoned, burnt alive, exposed to radiation.
Told you. Who burned alive? Where? Come on, family.
The Allies hunted the war criminals from Hitler's regime. In 1946, in Nuremberg, the doctors are put on trial. 22 men and 1 woman who experimented on human beings, who they transformed into lab rats, stand accused.
Makes sense? Okay, I'm going to end it here. If you attend the university, get ready for class. I will be going live in about an hour and a half. Let me eat me some breakfast out here on the West Coast. You feel me? And get back to what I do best, no matter where I'm at. Time to get to class and get to what we do. You hear what they said, right? Like lab rats. This is the genocide and the Holocaust of your own people. Make sure you, on my Patreon, you're going to get the link. You're also going to get the link to my new Instagram, to KevRow University. And I love each and every one of y'all. And it's time to get to work. See y'all in a bit. Coffee and Kush TV, thanks y'all for tuning into the program. Gotta go to class, though. Gotta pay the bills. Gotta pay the bills. Coffee and Kush TV. And as always, family,